Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of September 12th through the 18th of 2022. All right, so this week we have quite a bit going on astrologically. I think the simplest way of explaining it is that it is a great week for implementing. We just had that full moon last Saturday, and that's usually a time of getting some insights in the lunar cycle, maybe making some shifts and changes, and through those insights, implementing things. Now what will be the disseminating phase of the cycle, and over the weekend the third quarter moon. Third quarter is great for action, implementation of that full moon energy. And the weekend is really where a lot of the concentration of energy is. This week we have the sun entering improvement oriented Virgo on Thursday. So that's really starting almost the next 2 months on a lot of a focus on what can be improved, refined, getting into the details of things, doing things like our work or service as well. Great to have that improvement orientation. Now this is already where Mercury is retrograde, and so it's a reminder to perhaps be flexible right now. Things we rely on a day-to-day basis are going through a reworking. It's a good time to break up the routine or to try things differently, experiment, right, with the retrograde, so flexibility. And there's a lot of aspects over the weekend, Friday through Sunday. Okay, we'll talk about all these in detail, but just a quick sort of summary here. Venus, the planet of femininity, will be squaring up to Mars, the planet of masculinity. And so these two polarities might be in a bit of a clash here inwardly, which we can find constructively, to work with constructively to help that express itself in balanced ways. The sun will be opposite Neptune. Neptune is that watery, spiritual energy. So finding healthy ways of finding peace, and perhaps working with the ethers in constructive ways there with that one. And over Sunday, the energy kind of gets a little easier there. Mercury, the planet of our minds, will be opposite expansive Jupiter, more benefic planet. So maybe just a bit bigger picture, abstract, great for theoretical or abstract thinking. And the sun will be trining Pluto going into next week, maybe feeling a bit empowered going into Monday. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here's the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, September 12th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. A really good example is you heard me say that the sun is going to be in Virgo for almost 2 months. And this is because in the sky, Virgo is a very large constellation. But in mainstream astrology, they do not factor this in. They simplify it so that every single sign is an even 30 degrees. And the sun's there for about 30 days. Okay, but in truth, the sun is in constellations for different times because constellations are different sizes. So if you are new to this channel, definitely check out the link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. All right, so let's do a little bit of a recap in terms of where everything is coming into this week, since we do have a lot of shifts and changes. So first of all, the sun and Venus are still in expressive Leo. Venus will be here all week and the sun up until Thursday. And so it's still a great theme, a great time for self-expression. Right? It's been a great time for focusing on the things and people that are close to our hearts, doing the things we love, expressing ourselves, and maybe letting out some of that playfulness, creative energy. So that's still very good to focus on and enjoy with Venus. Now Mercury is retrograde in Virgo, and so it is good to be very flexible right now as things are changing and we want to be as adaptive as possible. But it's a great time of learning and experimenting, and especially in Virgo with things that deal with our day-to-day routines, maybe our work, anything that can be improved in our life, fixed, our skills even. Anything that needs to go back, be redone, re-edited. It's a great way of working with this Mercury retrograde, but flexibility is the key there. And Mars, taking his very long time in Taurus, which will be all the way up until early next year because he's going retrograde, is a reminder to take things slowly and steadily. All right, one step at a time, Taurus the bull. When we're taking action, stopping to smell the roses, taking things slowly right now. It's a great way of working with that. All right, so let's talk about each day of the week, starting first with Monday. As you can see here, the aspects are concentrated over the weekend, so that is going to place more of an emphasis on the moon's transits for these first few days of the week. On Monday, the moon will be finishing Pisces, well, still in Pisces, finishing early Tuesday. So Monday and early Tuesday, good for receptivity. This was some energy we felt over the weekend. Good to turn inward a bit, maybe find some alone time, maybe connect to our soul, right? It's still the heightened energy of the cycle, so this isn't so much about retreating or anything like that. We're still very much active, or there's things definitely moving forward in whatever the area is. It could even still be spirituality for you, but for someone else it might be their work, another might be their home. So whatever the area is, it's good to approach it with that receptivity, that connecting with our soul, our intuition, surrendering what's outside of our control, and maybe making peace with things, finding peace with things. Now, as we do get to the later part of Tuesday and all day Wednesday, we get into that fiery Aries mode. And so themes here will likely be around taking initiative. At least it's good to do that. So how can we take initiative with things? Perhaps cultivate our independence, connect to who we are and what we want in life, which is that assertive, fiery energy. It's a great way of working with this. All right, so that's the early part. And then, as I said, here around Thursday, we do have that sun going into Virgo, or getting closer to Virgo. And so, yes, starting what is this next almost couple months on focusing on what can be initiated with improvement. What can we focus on that can be improved in our life? This can be a great time for personal development, great time of developing our work and service, but all in all, getting to that more detail-oriented, analytical, improvement-oriented, perfection-driven side of ourselves while the sun is here. And of course, Mercury retrograde here, just still being flexible with these things as that reminder. Okay, now Thursday is when the moon will also change signs, so all day Thursday and pretty much for the whole rest of the week up until Sunday, so Thursday through Saturday, the moon will be in resourceful Taurus, placing that emphasis on what we said about sort of taking things slowly and steadily, right? Now, the moon does like to be here, so it could be a great time of enjoying the simple pleasures of life, comforts, luxuries, nature, and connecting to our inner resources, probably noticing themes around mustering up that inner worth, self-value, self-efficacy, the belief in ourselves, right, in our inner resources. Great time of connecting to those inner and outer resources there this weekend. And this is where we do have a lot of aspects, as you can see here. Again, we will be in that third quarter moon, so it is an integration of the full moon's energy. Good to challenge ourselves and apply things. We're usually more familiar with this energy by now, so it's nothing totally new. We're sort of veterans or seasoned in the cycle. And so it is more comfortable to work on it. But again, anything that's about implementing, challenging ourselves to implement is a great weekend for that. The Friday time is a little more on the challenging side of things collectively. Again, this is all positive. It's all for our growth and development. And by being aware of what this energy is makes it very, very constructive. But one is that Venus, the planet of what we could say is femininity, is in this clash or square with Mars. What we could say is masculinity. And so this is sort of clashed fundamentally within ourselves collectively. And so it's a good time to do our best to merge the two together. It's times like these where they might seem like they're very different, and they are in fact polarities with each other, but they can be implemented. And when they are implemented, it's extremely constructive, right? Venus is the side of ourselves that wants to be focused on what's right and others' needs and be tactful and receptive. Mars is also an important side that has needs, right? It's our needs, our drives, who we are and what we want. How we can initiate things. So we want to try to combine this, right? How can we be assertive, direct, independent with Mars, while at the same time being considerate, tactful, receptive to others' needs, right? Doing what's right and fair and all this. So it's a great time of integrating this, even though it might be difficult to do that. Again, collectively, there might be a bit of a clash there. Maybe in our relationships, all one-on-one dealings, even everyday ones, surface level ones as well. Because both of these planets are interpersonal. They deal with relationships, okay? But however it's manifesting, again, the key here is how to integrate the two. Express our needs, who we are and what we want, while at the same time being considerate, tactful, and striving towards what's right and fair for both parties, right? And in this way, very constructive time. It could be quite a passionate time as well, So that kind of passion and fire, that yin, yang, masculine, feminine sort of energy is an attention, which can be released constructively. Now, along with this, though, there is this kind of watery energy with the sun opposite Neptune. We were feeling this as well with the full moon conjunct Neptune. So if there is anything here that is about finding healthy ways of escaping or finding healthy ways of having peace in life, is a great way of working with this, because the oppositions do tend towards the imbalances, right? The pendulum swings. Neptune might want, an over extreme Neptune might want to escape or hide away or get caught up into dreams, ideals, and fantasies. The under extreme of Neptune might be apathetic, maybe just not spiritually connected, not wanting to go there into the ethers, into the emotional. And so this balanced approach here, in other words, finding healthy ways of finding peace and perhaps spiritual activities, meditation, presence, breath work, whatever it is. And in this way, it's a great time of working with this. But this can also be a shift of awareness, a shift of maybe even looking how far you've come maybe the past 6 months regarding some of this stuff. Maybe regarding spirituality or more peace in your life, or some dreams or ideals maybe shifting. Okay, so it's a little bit in the ethers, a little bit in that lost at sea kind of energy perhaps. But again, the remedy, the balanced approach is to connect to the balanced approach, that connect to the soul, connect to the present moment, have that healthy presence, healthy peace, makes it very constructive. So it could be very constructive Friday, even though, again, collectively it is leaning more towards the challenging side of things. Once we do get to this sort of Saturday, but mainly Sunday. So Sunday energy, right, is definitely going to be easing up out of some of those squares. Okay, and it's a little easier. So Mercury, the planet of our mind, is going to be contacted by expansive Jupiter, a benefic. Even though it's in opposition, Jupiter does tend to make things a bit more buoyant. So a great time of letting the mind and perspective kind of expand a little bit. So a good time for abstract stuff, spirituality, astrology, philosophy, maybe adventure in the routines, while, again, a lot of this is being reworked, having to redo things with the Mercury retrograde. But great to maybe discuss higher things, communicate higher things, expand the mind a little bit with that opposition to Jupiter. And then we start to feel this trine with Pluto. So maybe starting to feel a bit empowered going into Monday. A great time of facing fears. Great time of personal transformation. Reclaiming our power, our true power, inner power that we always have, instead of giving our power away, right? Embracing that. And anything that normally would be something you're afraid of, or there's a wound around, or inhibited to do, could be an empowering time to utilize that with a trine to Pluto. Okay. And over this Sunday time period, the moon will be in Gemini, so it is adding to that mercurial type of energy, that Mercury energy, where we'll notice going into Monday as well, themes around communication, learning, both gaining and sharing, seeing eye to eye with others is a great way of working with that. Now some minor things I just want to mention, definitely minor to what we've already discussed, is that Mars will be sextiling Chiron. So it is a great weekend for some healing, especially if there's some healing around taking initiative, around some active things we can be doing, certainly an opening there for some healing. Okay, sextiles are openings, Chiron's healing, Mars is at, again, assertive side. Saturn is within a 1 degree orb to that square to Uranus, which we had last year. Okay, so this is the energy from last year, which was about making changes in our life while building structure. So it's how can we structure our life so it has more freedom? Okay, and so this was going on, and this is just kind of a reminder or something to go back and kind of reestablish for really all the way through the month of October as well. This will be within 1 degree between now through October. And it's not going exact, it's just getting close. And so it's just a reminder about last year's energy of the importance of creating structure that can have more freedom in our life. And even though these things do seem like they're opposites, we can build things, take time with things, work on things that can create that foundation for us to have more freedom, more liberty, doing things that are more exciting to us, speak more to our true self, right? These kinds of things. All right. So that is the week in a nutshell. It can be very straightforward in its interpretation. This is a week of integrating, of implementing, and challenging ourselves to do that over the weekend with these sort of aspects. All right. The Friday, good to integrate the feminine, masculine sides of ourselves and how we relate with others. The opposition in Neptune to kind of focus in that center point of peace, presence, right, balance with the spiritual energies or sort of emotional energies with Neptune. That sort of lifts off as we get into about the Sunday time period. And then here, letting the mind expand a little bit, seeing things from the bigger picture, and a bit of empowerment going into next week. Those are the most important things this week. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. So if you're not yet signed up, there's a link down below for that. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.